Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the books is in. The books are in. They in. They're here.
All right. Let me take this off here. All right. First I want to say welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV. I want to say ETM Hotel, which means welcome in peace. I want to say Dua Duau, Dua Aku, Dua Neche, Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Wiwi, Fatmu Iwa Pele, Majuba Ibe E Gungun, Majuba Ibe E Gungun, Majuba Ibe E Lakba, Majuba Ibe E Lakba, Igungun Kiki Egungun. We always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to stand honor and praises to the true and living elders according to African traditions and from an African worldview and an African world perspective. Like I said, welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV. We have a special guest on Author's Perspective today. I know y'all gonna enjoy our great and powerful sister today. We got the team. I got the team on the panel. We got brother Satepara Mariaman. We got Sutek Akandi Uyani Olawa on the panel. We got Vasa Nicolo Gullah and T'Challa Bangara on the panel. Brothers, before we start the show, y'all got anything before we move forward with the interview? And peace to those in the chat. And please like and share the show if you're on YouTube. And like and share it if you're on Facebook, because we're streaming from Kofi Piesie TV YouTube channel and Kofi Piesie TV like page on Facebook.
Yeah, okay. Ikini Ebi, Share Lafiani, peace to the family, peace to the brothers on the panel, peace to our special guest, Sister Mary, peace to all those in the chat and all those that were viewing in the archives. We back at you again for another episode of Author's Perspective. I'm very interested to get into it. So I'll say like and share the show. And once again, appreciate y'all for coming through.
Peace, everybody. This is your brother Satepara Mariaman. And like my brother Satek said, we are excited to have this sister on the panel. I'm excited to get to know her. And she got some jewels she going to drop on us about the publishing and all that good stuff. So yeah, y'all stay tuned and get to know this sister here, Sister Mary.
Vasa, you got anything? Oh, T'Challa, go ahead.
Yeah, peace to everybody. We have a very, very special guest today, and I've been liking this author's perspective because it's just something different, and you don't see a whole lot of people, you know what I mean, doing this type of thing. We're informing the people on the process of writing. So I've been just enjoying this series and appreciating all the love that everybody's showing Kofi Piesie Research Team. Like and share the show, and let's get to it.
Vasa.
Peace, everyone, and peace, Sister Mary. Very nice to meet you. I'm happy to be here. I'm interested to see where this one is going to go. I'm happy we have a female author here. That's going to be very interesting to see. Been wanting to see more of these come about. So I'm very happy to be here at the moment. And peace to everyone.
Yeah, she's the second powerful lady to a powerful queen to come on the show. We had majority men, so Miss Mary, you are the second one. Ladosha was the first one. You are the second one. Hopefully, we'll be able to get more women, powerful women, on this writing as well. Before I let you introduce you, we introduce you and you introduce yourself to the audience. We have a little format that we have to do. Let me share my screen. Hold on, I ain't even shared my screen. Let me know when I share my screen real quick. All right, share my screen. All right. Let me know when y'all can see my screen, y'all. Hold on, let me go. Okay. All right. All right. Let me make this big and let me tune in over here real quick. Y'all give me 1 second. I got 4 or 5 different things. Devices open at one time. Hold on, let me turn it down. All right. And again, peace to everybody in the chat. Please like and share the show. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about the show. If you're on Facebook, please share it on Facebook. We are streaming from both platforms. All right. Again, today's show, on Author Perspective, we have Mary N. Oluonye. She is a co-founder of the Celmar Travel and Tours. So she has her own company. She's a book reviewer, and most important, she is a author. So let's get it. Hold on, let me move this. All right. Everybody know this is our saying. You know, we follow this motto: as I learn, we all learn. Also, go get the new book. As I learn, we all learn. Sharing information with others, deepen your own knowledge. But this is a motto. This is a phrase that we follow over here on Kofi Piesie TV and Mossy Warrior Clan. As I learn, we all learn, and we must produce more writers. This is definitely the phrase over here for Author's Perspective. This is a must. We must produce more writers. Now, each show that we do on Author Perspective, we always dedicate the show to a author, whether they're living or deceased. And most of our show has been dedicated to those who have transitioned into the Ngungun or the ancestral realm. So today, this is Sobufo Somo. This is Maladome Some's wife right here. Both of those are ancestors. They are both now in the ancestral realm. And she is a author as well as her husband, Maladome Some. So these are some of her works of the spirits of intimacy, the welcome spirit homes, falling out grace, and this Africa woman's wisdom from the heart of Africa. This is an audio book. She's an author, activist. She's from Burkina Faso, and she's a part of the Dagara people in Burkina Faso. She's a motivational speaker as well. So I want to say Majuba Ipe, so Buffet Some, all honor and respect to our late great ancestor who also was a writer. And this is our quote, this is our African proverb that we give every show. Until the lion learns how to write, every story will glorify the hunter. For those that may not know what that African proverb means, it means this is an African proverb, meaning that until the oppressed can learn how to read, write, and communicate with the world outside, the world will never know their viewpoints. The world will always believe the influential hunter who can modify their tales, talk about the glories, the glories which might just be an illusion. When a hunter goes for a hunt, he can come back and tell 1,000 tales about how bravery he fought the lion and killed him. However, the truth might that he backstabbed the lion and killed him without even an iota of resistance. So that's why it's a must, family, that we must produce more writers that look like us, so we able to tell our own stories, because we know in the educational system, which I like to refer to as the food system, you know, they teach us mistruths. They tell us about their glory, you know, and not about our glory. They tell about their contributions and not about our contributions. So it's very important that we must produce more writers that can tell our own stories from our own worldview and from our own perspective. Again, before we get into the what's name, just some working definitions. Author, what is an author? This is coming from the etymology dictionary. Author, father, creator, one who brings about, one who makes or creates someone or something. From the Old English, actor, author, originator, creator, investigator. So this is why I call authors creators too, because we are creators. We are creators. I call authors producers because we are producers. Author, a writer of a book, or article, or report. So even if you don't have a book out, you have articles. And that's where I started out. I started out writing articles first. So, you know, an author can be one who writes a book, an article, or a report. Writer, from the Old English, writer, one who can write. A clerk, one who produces books or literature compositions. Agents, nouns, retan, meaning sign painter. And this is from 1837 Writer's Cramp text. Writer. A writer is a person who uses written words in different styles and techniques to communicate ideas. Writers produce different forms of literature, arts, or create, that word, or creativity, or create writing such as novels, short story, books, poetry, plays, screenplays, teleplays, songs, and essays, as well as other reports and news articles that may be in the intent to the public. Writers' texts are published across the range of media. Skilled writers who are able to use language to express ideals well often contributes significance to the cultural context of society. So just wanted to give a few working definitions before we get started. I'll come back to that a little bit later on. Let me start sharing my screen. Give me a second. Stop sharing my screen. All right. Again, for those that are in the chat, if this is your first time on Kofi Piesie TV, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, and also hit the like button. Let me get Vasa back in here. Okay. Now let's get the interview started. Sister Mary, I have a lot of questions to ask, but before we get started with the questions, introduce yourself. Let the people know who is Mary in Oluonye. Give them your resume.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am really honored to be here on this panel. And I'm just Mary Oluonye, Mary O. A lot of people know me by that. I love to write. I've been writing since I was a little person. And I'm an author. I write nonfiction primarily, but I have done children's fiction as well. I've worked with children who write. I love doing that. I've worked with adults who write. I love doing that. And in fact, as you can tell, I just like words and writing. But I'm also owner of Celmar Travel and Tours, which is a travel company. We focus on African destinations. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I'm a writer. Can you hear me?
Your mic muted, Kofi. Unmute your mic.
I'm sorry, I've been doing that lately. I'll mute my mic when someone's speaking, and then I'll go back to talking, and my mic is muted. But yeah, let's get into the first question. And if anybody doing the in the chat as we get further into the interview, if you have any questions for Miss Mary, please feel free to put them in the chat. Or you have any questions that's directed toward producing book, writing process, which we're going to get into all of that all of that good stuff here pretty soon. But the first question is name a few of your, everybody to come on the platform, we always ask the author to name a few of their own favorite authors. So can you give us a few of your favorite authors?
Well, I have so many, but let's say right now I like, there's an author called Beverly Jenkins. She writes fiction, sometimes historical fiction. She's an African-American woman. And why I particularly mention her today is because she has a series of books called, it has to do with this place called Blessings. And Blessings is an all Black community. And she has several books around that. So when I was thinking of Black sitting lately, I thought that was a fictional way to get away into a community called Blessings. And that's the premise of her series of books. I also like, of course, Chinua Achebe of Nigeria. I like Carter Woodson. That's a favorite. Miseducation of the Negro. That is something I'm always reading. Let's see. I don't know. There's just so many. There's so many that I like. And of course, there's McCall Smith. He writes about the #1 ladies detective agency based in Botswana. So sometimes I like books based in other countries because I'm a multicultural kind of woman. And I think those are some of my favorites right now.
Okay.
When I was little, I liked Dr. Seuss. I did like Green Eggs and Ham.
I think everybody liked that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, did you realize that he did some pretty racist things too? He had some racist depictions. So I was so disappointed when I found that out, but I still like the book. Just saying.
Okay. Can y'all, is that, hold on one second, is that me or is that Sister Mary that was breaking up? Was it me? It might have been me breaking up. Did y'all hear her pretty good on the panel, brothers?
Yeah, I heard. That might be your end.
Okay, well that might have been me. That was me breaking up then. Okay. My next question, okay, well, that question, we always ask how long the author been writing. You basically already told us that in the introduction. And by the way,
I can tell you more about that.
Okay, go ahead.
I can tell you more about the writings since we were children. It's because, I grew up in Nigeria and America, back and forth all my life. And in Nigeria, we have a rainy, dry season. So during rainy season, my dad would bring home rolls and rolls of paper, the kind that engineers use to draw plans. He'd bring those home and we just put it on the floor in our room and start writing. So that's where it started, when we're children, writing.
Okay. Hold on one second, y'all. My internet, for some reason, I guess it's me that's messing up. Let me put my Ether card in here so that can be better. All right. I'm sorry about that. I have some technical difficulties over here. Let's talk about some of your books. Well, no. Before we even talk about the books, let's talk about publishing and unpublishing before we get into the books and you start to break down each book, just a summary of each book, because y'all, she has a lot of book. I have this book here. So, you know, we try to support each other. We try to support our authors. So Moving to Ghana, this is one of her books that we have over here. And we have Madam C.J. Walker. She has several other books as well. I have another one coming tomorrow. But we're going to get into all of her books in a few minutes. But let's talk about real quick about publishing versus self-publishing and explain the two. I had most of the people that's been on here has been self-publishing. You and LaDosha are the first two that went through a publishing company and also did self-publishing later on. So let's explain to the listening audience publishing versus self-publishing, which one is beneficial, which one is may not be beneficial.
Okay, so I have published. When I first started getting published, it was with a traditional publisher. I had written a book about Nigeria, nonfiction, and I wrote it because of all the misperceptions people had about Africans. You know, as I was growing up, I said to myself, when I grow up, I write a book about Nigeria. So I wrote this book, and it took me 10 years to find a traditional publisher. So, number one, traditional publishing is extremely difficult to break into. When you see my books, this was the first one. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, I don't know. It was on Nigeria. Can you see that? This is what the traditional publishing book looks like. It's hard
Yes,
copy,
we can see it.
Very sleek. Okay, so it's sleek. So these were the first ones I did. Those were the traditional publisher. The name of the publishing company was Learner. So they're very big in educational publishing. They asked me to do Nigeria. No, they accepted Nigeria. And then they asked me to write also a book on Madagascar and also South Africa. So I did those. Now, I'm not the greatest fan of traditional publishing right now. And I've written articles about why I am not. First of all, when I did these books for traditional publishers, it was sold as a flat rate. You know, write these books and they pay you a certain amount. So it was flat. So once they pay you that was it. No matter where your books, how many books sold, where they sold. These books are in libraries and schools all over the world. And I just got the flat rate, right? So that's one thing to be very careful and aware of the contracts you get from traditional publishing. The second thing with traditional that really gets it bothers me a lot is that not only is it extremely difficult to break into, a lot of times you write a book, you have to find an agent to represent your book to the publisher. When you get to the traditional publishing companies, it is overwhelmingly white controlled, meaning the gatekeepers from the top to the bottom are mostly not people of color. So it's annoying that in this day and age, there are so few books written by and about children and of color. And why is that? Because the gatekeepers are not us. We're not represented there. They made a big hue and cry about this in 2015. Nothing has changed since then. So that's one thing that bothers me about traditional publishing. It's overwhelmingly controlled by white people. We're not in control of our own stories. That's so annoying. So secondly, when you do sell to a traditional publisher, the amount of money you make is very little. Like your royalties are very little compared to if you were to try and do it yourself, self-publishing or through a different type of publisher. So those are two things to know. I mean, it's an intricate, complicated matter. But if you're going to work really so hard on your stories and you find it so difficult to sell to the mainstream traditional publishers, then try and do it yourself. We tell our stories, we control our stories. We're not going to go and ask other people to validate whether or not your book deserves to be published when they're not even part of the community, if you understand what I mean.
Yes, ma'am. And so self-publishing will be the way to go. Now, dealing with the self-publishing, we talked about this before. We talked about and like I say, it's an educational show as well, to show people that it's, how to do what is the process. Now, Amazon. Now, your books are on Amazon. All of our books are on Amazon. Sister Ladosha, she's in the chat. Peace, Sister Ladosha, she's in the chat. Her books are on Amazon as well. Now, you self-publish the book yourself. And I try, and even with the listening audience, I let them know if they go through Amazon, you can start out with Amazon. And we talk about the split, like you just talked about. You had a flat rate with the traditional, and then your books are being sold all over the world at different schools, and you're not even really making nothing or nothing at all off of it because of the flat rate, or your royalties are very low. And even when you go through you self-publish, and you go through Amazon.com, and I'm making this point is because we put the links out to wherever our books are published at, but we always reiterate to go through the author, because that is where the money is at. If you want to support them, for their intellectual property, is to patronize the author. Because even when you self-publish and you go through Amazon gives us it's not a 60-40 split, but it's a 60-40 split. So we let people know the option. And when you go through Amazon, it's a 60-40 split. They get 60%, you get 40%. Then they charge you to print the book according to how many pages, how many pictures. If you're gonna have it in color, then your author's copies go up. You get them cheap than the book, but sometimes the author's copy varies and it goes up pretty high. So it's very important to patronize the author instead of going straight through Amazon. Am I correct? Or
You're correct in that if you buy directly from the author, of course the author keeps more.
Mm-hmm.
And for the ebook, I think we get 70%. The author will get 70%.
Mm-hmm.
But for print copy, because I'm not one who is a hustler that will run out and be selling the books, I just put it on Amazon, and then whatever I get, I get. The key for me is to make publishing. To keep publishing, the more you publish, of course, the more you're going to make. The key also in making money on Amazon is to get those book reviews. The more reviews you get, the higher up your ranking gets. And the more you are visible, the more people will buy, right? So that's the way because I'm one of the bustle marketers. So I just say, okay, I'm putting it out there for the information, basically, but not so much for trying to, the money is not as important. I just wanted books out because I realized we needed some more information on certain topics, then I'll just put them out there. If the publishers, the big ones, don't want to do it, then I do it myself. Furthermore, with the traditional publishing, they take so much of your money. If you have a picture book, say you push a standard picture book for children, you know what those are, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you sell it for $18. Okay, I was just doing some research. They sell the thing for $18. The author is only going to make about 30 cents to $1 per book. In the long run, that's what they're going to make. When you go to a traditional publisher, they may just give you an advance. They'll say, okay, we're going to give you from $0 to $8,000. If you have done a picture book and you have worked with an illustrator, they're going to split that the advance, right? And the illustrator will get a little bit more than the author. Then your royalties are calculated after you repay all that advance, right? You have to sell enough to repay for them to get that advance back. And then you get your 30 cents to $1 per book. So to me, it makes more sense to just go there, publish it yourself. In the end, the money you can make by yourself, if you're a real marketer, if you can really market your book well, is a whole lot more than going.
Yes, it is. And we just try to give people both sides of the coin, and explain, what these expectations are with the people that you go through these publishing companies, how much you may have to pay for the publishing company, or even the advance, and the breaking down of the royalties versus self-publishing yourself. And me, self-publishing also is the way to go. Like you said, there are gatekeepers, and certain. I know if we went through certain publishing companies with what we publish, I knew we probably wouldn't even. They probably would reject our books and wouldn't even publish the information that we put out. So yeah, it's very important to self-publish your own books. And then I know also it's a lot of pressure too when it comes to these going through these publishing companies. Am I correct? They want you to sell a certain amount of copies, like you said, especially if they give you a certain type of advance. So they're trying to make some of their money back. So they want you to be able to sell a certain amount of certain amount of copies, what I'm saying, to recoup on some of their investment. Now, you mentioned a children book. Is it expensive to produce children books versus just producing a regular book or a scholarly book, or and the reason why I'm asking that is because of the illustrations. I know you do children books, and then you mentioned the guy that does the illustration to get his part. So is it expensive it's more expensive for children books, or it's less expensive for children books than versus the scholarly or the regular published books?
Okay, so we're going to talk about from the perspective of self-publishing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
For sure, if you have illustrations, it will cost a little more, because when you self-publish, everything falls on you. It's your responsibility. You're almost the publisher of your book. So you have to find an illustrator. The illustrator and you have to work together to put text and illustrations to work to enhance each other. It's not everybody that can do that. So you have to find the illustrator, and you have to pay the illustrator. At least for me, I pay the illustrator. If I use any other photo from any source and it's copyrighted, I have to write the source, the people, whoever owns the photo, and I have to get permissions to use it. And sometimes you have to pay too. So when you factor in all of those things, it's going to cost you more. When I did, one of the books I did was a Wally book. It was about the boy who faced the snake. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yes, ma'am, I got it.
Snake. It's a beginning reader. Okay, so that one I used, worked with a local illustrator, young man, James Quarles, here in Ohio. We had to meet several times, and he'd look over the manuscript and to illustrate to illustrate it well, to bring out the story well. I had to pay him. So for that small book you see there, that illustrations alone cost maybe up to, and he gave me a break, mind you, at least $500. So anything with illustrations, if it's black and white, it's going to be cheaper than with color. But it will cost you. But you want to get it. If you're going to do it, if you're going to self-publish, you want to do the best job you can. Because out there, you're competing with all those other, the traditional publishers and what they're putting out, and because your name is on it, this is the quality work and you want it for your children, your people, it has to just be the best it can be. And you got to pay for that sometime,
Yeah. Yes. And,
so it is
and I
more,
just,
it does cost more.
yes. And I wanted to throw that out there too, just for people that thinking about writing children books, because it's easier. We write a lot of scholastic books, but we have ventured off and we did, Sean did One Night Before Bed. I did Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland of African Education and Music and Instrument. As a matter of fact, the guy that does our illustrations, Jehudi, he's in the chat. Peace, brother Jehudi. He cuts us a break too, because and I shout out to that brother, because he really cuts us a break. And yes, it can get expensive. So I wanted you to talk about it and share it with the people, for those that may be looking to venture off into doing children books as well. It can get a little bit expensive coming out of your pocket when you're talking about these illustrations and these cartoons illustrations, because you want some type of illustrations in a children book, and then you want it to definitely be in color. So it can get expensive. It can coming out of your pocket with the illustration. And even when you go through and self-publishing, whatever self-publishing company you go through, it's coloring is high. So you have to, so we just want to notify the people, so when they get into what they're getting into, they already know what they're getting into. Because a lot of people don't know these, these things, and putting a book up, any type of book together. But a children book is definitely expensive to do. And let's go ahead and talk. First, I want to name all of your publications, and then I want you to kind of talk to the audience, briefly about these different publications. And then once you kind of go over them, I kind of want you to go through the process of, well, matter of fact, let's do that before we go into all of your, she has several publications. But let's talk about real quick before we, I name them and then you talk about them briefly. What is the process? What is your writing process? All of our processes is different. Like I give an example. Like my process is, when I'm writing something, I'm creating something, I don't eventually type it out as first. I actually write it on paper. And once I write it on paper, then I go and I type it up. But I have an ideal, I write ideals down on paper first. Then I take those ideals and then write them on paper, and then start creating. Or I get, before I even start creating, I write down all the books, the sources that I want to reference for whatever subject matter I want to present in a chapter or in a book, and write those down on paper. But some people don't write on paper first. People may have other different process, and then they have another step that they follow, and then another step before they actually start to typing. So what is Mary's Oluonye's process when it comes to her writing?
This Mary Oluonye, she needs to start with paper and pencil or a pen. And I'm so particular about my pencils. They have to be a particular kind of pencil. I'm particular about my pens. People think I'm crazy, but I need that. And I hoard paper. Anytime I see, like a sale anywhere, I collect paper. If you see all my notebooks, they're all blank, and all my loose leaf, there's something for me that when I'm writing by hand, the thought process is going through from my brain down to my arm. So sometimes I'm writing and I don't know where it's coming from, because it's coming straight from my brain, going to my hand, and I'm writing. For me to sit down and go to a computer will take me 10 hours to do what I can do 1 hour by writing by hand. So for me, for sure, I have to start longhand. It's just people are different, but that's for me. I do that. I also, when I have thought, I keep paper by my bed, because it's funny enough, you think about things in the middle of the night. I'll just wake up and think of something, and I'll reach over, at least I write it and go right back to sleep. Another thing when I get the ideas is that I use my phone. I put it in voice notes and save the ideas there. Because sometimes when I go back to my voice notes, it's almost word for word what I'll write by hand. I don't know, your brain works in a strange way. But for me, that's my process. I write a lot of nonfiction. So I spend time in the library. You know, at this age, well, all my life, my brain is like a sponge, and everything is so interesting to me. So if I decide on a topic I want to write about, I go to the library. I do a whole lot of research. I go online, but I know everything you see online is not correct, because sometimes people say, oh, just because they Google it and find it online, they think that you can use such materials as research. No, you have to know the quality of your sources. And because I write nonfiction, I have to be able to back up every single word I write. And so therefore I find multiple sources for anything I write. Even my Garrett Morgan book, one of my books I wrote, after it was out for a while, somebody sent an email to me and said, Mary, you mentioned on page 19 that Morgan did this. How do you know that? What are your sources? And luckily for me, I never throw away my sources. I have all my details. I keep everything for years. And I was able to point out exactly where I found that information to verify that I know what I'm talking about. So particular type notes. I revise a lot. The first couple of manuscript pages are just pure trash as far as I'm concerned. I just write to get the juices flowing. And then after the juices start flowing, all of a sudden, after 4 pages, it begins to make really good sense. But I know I'm going to trash the first couple of pages, but it just gets you started. At least that's the beginning of my process. So.
Right. And that's oh shoot, I done took her off here. And that's kind of like the process of mine. It's very important, you know. If you very creative and you have ideals, that I recommend that for everybody to take and keep a pad either at your bed. Like I can pull out a pad here. I can go inside here and pull out pads. I can go back there. So I keep pads, and I take a little pad when I go to work, and I jot notes down, because if I have an ideal, sometimes I can have an excellent ideal about a book title and how I want to structure it, and I have it all planned out in my head. And I could be away from home, away from something at that particular time, or I could be, you know, in a gathering and I have these ideals. I'll take something out and write it down so I won't forget it, because a lot of times if we have these ideals and we don't write it down, you know, when we come back to it and try to revisit it later on, we can't think. We may be able to revisit some of it, but we won't be able to think of everything that we thought of at that same. So it's very important to jot down and take notes, you know what I'm saying, when you have these ideals. And that's definitely what I do. And I write on hand. But like I said, all of us, we have different processes when it comes to writing. And you mentioned revisiting too. So even with revisiting, like I said, we're using this as an educational thing for people that may want to start writing, and hopefully we're able to inspire people to start producing. And writing is revising. You can always go back and revise your information. You know, it doesn't cost anything to revise. It doesn't even cost to self-publish your own books when you get ready to self-publish it. And a lot of people go through Amazon, because Amazon is killing the market everywhere. You know, Amazon is worldwide, it's big, and it's killing a lot of it is one of the #1 competitions right now. But you can always go back in and revise your information. You know, if you made an error on certain things, or you want to update some information, or even add some information to a chapter or something that you have, you can always go back and revise. That's what she means when she talk about revising. You can always go back into your body of your book and revise what you have. And it goes back through review if you're dealing with Amazon. I can't speak on any other publishing self-publishing company except KDP Amazon, because that's who we use. So I know it goes back through review. So anytime because it has to meet, you know, the standards of Amazon as well, and that's just the how the body of the book look, making sure that the words is not outside the lines, the pictures, if you got pictures, it's not outside of the line that they have. What's the name? The book cover meets a certain standard where it's not outside or shifted too far to the right or too far to the left, or a emblem of words on top of a barcode. That's what we mean by standard, but so it has to go through review. So that's what she means by revising. You can always go back and revise your work. My computer shut off. We're gonna get into we'll start off with, I'm gonna name some of the books, and then we'll let you talk about a couple of them, and then we'll go to I'm turn it over to Sotomayor, and Sotomayor is gonna shoot. We have Sotomayor, what is it called, Sotomayor? We just started this a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Rapid fire. What is it called, Sotomayor? He must have walked away from the thing. But hold on.
Rapid fire questions.
Yeah. So we'll do the rapid fire. But let's talk about your publications. You have a publication, and let me know, because I meant when I talked to you yesterday, I definitely forgot to ask you, because I try to make sure I get, especially authors that we bring on to have several publications. I try to make sure that I get all of them, and make sure, because one author we did, he wrote 100 books, but he published 25. He had 25 publications, and I added some that wasn't even his, and I meant to make sure with these. But if these are not, but I kind of did some research to kind of make sure that these were yours. So you have a publication called Nigeria, which you showed. You said it was a traditional publish. You have Madam C.J. Walker, the inventor, entrepreneur, millionaire. You have Moving to Ghana, which is one of the books that I showed a while ago, and the Madam C.J. Walker book that I have. And I wish I would have had this book, the Madam C.J. Walker. I don't know if you've seen, I did a presentation a few weeks ago. The following day after we was all on the panel about Annie Turbo and Madam C.J. Walker, what Annie Turbo meant to Madam C.J. Walker. I did a whole presentation on that, and to critique the Madam C.J. Walker Netflix film, because they depicted Anna Turbo to be this villain, and Madam C.J. Walker to be a thief. So I showed a lot of different discrepancies in between there, and to even highlight that if it wasn't for Annie Turbo, there would be no Madam C.J. Walker. So I wish I would have had this book at that time. I probably would have used this in my presentation as well. But then you mentioned The Adventures of Wally, the day I Faced the Snake, and then I see this had to be Madagascar, which you mentioned a while ago, South Africa, Garrett Augustus Morgan, business inventor, good citizen, the day the library didn't open, Sonia Sotomayor, U.S. Supreme Court Justice. So I didn't miss anything, did I?
How to write a report, step-by-step guide
to
writing a report.
Report. I'm surprised. I thought I put that on here, but I didn't put that on, and that's something I definitely, like I told you, I got to have, because I definitely want to be able to get that to my 13-year-old son. But that one, I'm sorry, I thought I put that one on here. Let me make sure, because I might have got it on here. Okay. A step-by-step guide to writing a school report. Okay, I got it. Okay, but let's start off with the Nigeria. the Nigeria book that you wrote. And it was published, looks like it was published in 2007. You published this book in 2007. This was your first publication.
Okay, so this is what they look like. I had Nigeria. That was one. After a while, they revised it to look like this kind. So you're probably thinking about this one.
Yes, ma'am.
So they use these books they use them in schools because, you know, sometimes you have to do school reports. Children grades 3 to 5 often have to, you know, do country reports. So that's why the libraries have them. I had people in England and other countries say, hey, I see your book in our library. So I wrote those in particular. The first one, Nigeria, because I told you about the misperceptions people had. So that's what inspired me to write about Nigeria. Meanwhile, you know me, I'm Nigerian too. So what my first book would be about Nigeria. What else? So we're with the traditional publishers. And if you're going to write for traditional publishers, especially for nonfiction, that you will have to follow their guidelines, because they have guidelines that they want you to follow and things you must incorporate into your books. So those were those. And
what is, can you tell us a little bit about, I'm sorry, can you tell us a little bit about Nigeria? That book, kind of like give us a brief summary of Nigeria, and then we'll move to Madam C.J. Walker. And, you know, what gave you the ideals or inspired you to write each one of those books that you have?
Okay. So for the Nigeria and other country books, the publisher had a series of books about different countries, and they know what they want to cover in each book. So it's just like an overview. It's like what children have to cover in a class, social studies. So it'll give you where the country is located, who lives there, what the family is like, government is like, food. It's just an overview of each country appropriate for children, grades 3 to 5. So they can write a school report about a country. And they'll come and research Nigeria or whatever country it is. So these kinds of books in the library, they're parts of series, and it will tell you writing for children. You have to know who you're writing for, your audience, with respect to children's books, because picture books will be for one reading level, beginning readers is a different level, early grade fiction is a different level, and you have to know which group you're writing for, and you know what language to use, how long the sentences should be, sentence structure, how detailed to go into. So that's Nigeria, South Africa, Madagascar. All those books are just a general overview to the country, so children can understand and be able to research and then write a report on them, on the country. I wanted to also mention before, when I talked about revision, when I talk about revision, I'm actually talking about the editing process, because the first round, as we know, you're going to have to edit and rewrite, because you don't want to ever publish anything until it's as perfect as it can be. I mean, you're not going to waste your whole life worrying about the details. You know, you do have to get the book out, but the book that you put out the first time has to be completely edited well. That's what I meant by revision.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm
do you
sorry.
want me to talk about the other books?
Yes, ma'am.
No
with those two, I want you to talk about that. So the Nigeria, the South Africa, and the Madagascar. I think, you know, just with the brief summary that you gave about them, I mean, shoot, just grown-ups in general, especially over here, you know, will learn a lot just from those books. You know, the language, the sentences, the different things in the countries. I'm you just done sold me on get. I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna go ahead and try to see if I can get that Nigerian book. Because that's something I'm interested in as well. So I think grown folks can learn from that as well, because a lot of us don't know what language, we particularly deal with that over here, but I know a lot of other people may not know what language, people in Nigeria speak. With there's plethoras of language, or in South Africa, what languages they speak over there, or even in Madagascar. So, even the culture and so forth. Not Madagascar, but Madam C.J. Walker. What inspired you first? What inspired you to write about Madam C.J. Walker? You have a book called Madam C.J. Walker, Inventor, Entrepreneur, and Millionaire, a Notable Life Series, which is volume 1. Yes, I got my copy too.
Yes. I mean, she's a woman. She was a millionaire. She's an entrepreneur. But why I write my notable biographies is because these are young people who were able to accomplish so much, having so little. And then I consider these people to be role models for children of today, because it shows them that kids, well, Madam C.J. Walker, when she started, or Garrett Morgan, when he started, they were young. 14, 16, and they didn't have as much as the children have today, but able to accomplish so much by believing in themselves. Even Madam C.J., Sonia Sotomayor, same thing. They believed in themselves, and I look at them as role models, and so that's why I chose them. Madam C.J. Walker, she's a lady. She set a standard in her time. Garrett Morgan, he grew up in Ohio. I'm here in Ohio. The traffic light. Everybody say Garrett Morgan. What did he do? Traffic light. But every February, Black History Month, I worked in the library, children's room, for 18.5 years. When I published Garrett Morgan, we did not have enough books for these children coming into the library asking for Black inventors. So I wrote one. After I wrote my own, the traditional publishers started doing some more too. But I wrote this specifically for the children in that neighborhood who kept coming to the library, and there were just not enough information, especially Garrett Morgan and him coming from Kentucky and moving to Ohio when he was only 14 years old and accomplishing so much. So there's a role model. Sonia Sotomayor, she's the first Latina Supreme Court justice. It wasn't easy for her. People would talk about affirmative action and whatnot. No, the woman worked hard from when she was a little girl suffering from diabetes. She worked very hard to accomplish all that she did, and from a very poor place. So these are people who, they are role models for young people. And if I admire them, I want to write about them. I actually tell people, I actually fall in love with the people I write about, if it's a biography.
Okay, so Madam C.J. Walker and Garrett Augustus Morgan and Sonia Sotomayor. So those are the volumes. Okay, and those are all good people to write about. Well, I know about Garrett Augustus Morgan and Madam C.J. Walker, and that's the reason why I bought the Sonia Sotomayor book, the U.S. Supreme Court Justice book, which is volume 2 here that she's holding right there. I should have my copy tomorrow, because I don't, I'm not familiar with her, so I wanted to read her story and see who this sister is, and what she did. You said U.S. Supreme Court Justice, so you said she was one of the first Latinos. Okay. So definitely,
the only one. The only one. The first.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, she's the first Latina U.S. Supreme Court Justice, the only one.
Okay. Before we talk about the two other books, Satep and Rod, you still on here? He's not on here. Because we want to go to one segment of the show. But let's go ahead and before we go to those last two books, because I want to talk about the step-by-step guide to writing a school report. I think I'm missing one. Let me see.
This one.
Okay, yeah. The Wally. Mm-hmm. Before we talk about those last two, Brother T'Challa or Brother Sutek, y'all got any questions? I'll digress my questions for a minute, and we'll pick back up with the books if y'all got anything that we might already covered. If y'all wanted to, say anything, but y'all could have interjected at any time if y'all wanted to, if y'all had a question. And if anybody in the chat got any questions, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube, just put it in the chat where we can see it and we'll answer.
Yeah, I had something. I just wanted Sister Mary to reiterate a point she made earlier in the show about sources and the quality of your sources, not just what she described was like a logical fallacy, if I'm not mistaken, and it's the confirmation bias. When you find some information online that corroborates your argument or your way of thinking, just because it agrees with you, that doesn't mean that is what it is, if that makes sense. We know as authors, we write and we tell stories, but even if we're writing, if we're not going to write a scholastic work and we're making something up like a children's story, we're still having to put facts in there, but we have to have quality sources. I thought that was a very important point, and I wanted to know why, what was her experience, if she's experienced dealing with people who don't vet their sources or have their sources vetted. What are the consequences to not having quality sources from her perspective?
Okay, so one of the things I do is I'm also a book reviewer. Journal of African-American History, they would send me manuscripts to review. I don't know if you know that magazine, but it's very academic and scholarly with a lot of references. And I'd check them. Not all, but I would check some. And I used to review books for, I don't know if you know, School Library Journal is a national magazine of book reviews that libraries and bookstores use to determine which books to buy. So before the books are published, they would send me a manuscript to look over, because I would do multicultural as my focus, but not all the time. So I remember reading a book where the author put the wrong president of the country, listed the completely wrong president. And, I don't know what happened in the research this person did, but the fact that I mentioned that this was a big error, the book never was published though, because that was major. Just like the woman also who called me or wrote me the letter to question a fact of my Garrett Morgan book. Once somebody can say that your facts don't hold up, then that's going to affect your work, your reputation. You just don't want that to happen. So I totally agree with, just because something agrees with your point of view does not mean it's correct. So therefore, I always tell people have multiple sources of credible information, and they have to know what is a credible source of information, because I see it all too often. People just go online and think just because something is online that it's true. As we know, a whole lot of it is not. I think this is very important. I used to see the children come into the library. They would just cut and paste, not even reading anything, just cut and paste and think that they have done the research. I say, no, you haven't. And, we have to teach the children early that, you know, they have to learn research skills. It's not only children, adults do it all the time too. It's very important. I don't know if that's
Yes, and
answered.
those. Yeah. Adults, they do it all the time. Yeah, it's very important to venture sources. T'Challa, you got anything else before we move this Sutek, and then I'll get back to the last two books, and then we'll ask the last few questions. We an hour and 5 minutes into the show. We got 20 minutes left before we end the show, so let's get it
Nah,
in.
I ain't got nothing, man. Y'all pretty much answered everything that I had. But I'm listening. It's interesting. Interesting interview.
Okay, Sutek, not Sutek, but Sotomayor, you back? Or you still away from the your computer?
I think he had to make a run, so I think he ain't
Oh,
gonna be there for a second.
okay.
I had
Well, go ahead, T'Challa.
I had this is a personal question based off of your last name. Sister Mary, wanted to know if you didn't mind what, you know, we say, okay, you're Nigerian, but we do understand that, you know what I mean? That's kind of vague. I personally, I'm interested in anthropology and linguistics as part of what I do, being a musician, studying music in West Africa. So I was just curious if you could disclose, you know, what is your ethnicity specifically?
Igbo.
Okay.
Nigerian side, I'm Igbo. That's the ethnic group. And my mother is American. My dad, Nigerian. So we grew up in two countries, you know, back and forth since I think 6 months old was the first trip. So that's the way we lived between two cultures. But my foundation, my outlook, my worldview is more African than American, simply because that's where the emphasis was when growing up. And but it's been good to have a complete mix, complete mix. But I'm African, Nigerian first, and then everything else later. Plus, I'm glad that the interest in music is very interesting because as part of the other business I have, you know, we do the cultural immersion kind of experiences. So when people go, we want them to go to Africa, African countries, to completely immerse themselves in the culture. That includes the music and arts, language.
Yeah. Go ahead, T'Challa.
I was gonna say I agree. That's I mean, I don't like to just read and then like write papers and do lectures and presentations on Africa. I'd like to experience, you know what I mean, the whole thing as much as I can, until, you know, we get there, and we coming soon, family. But you know what I mean? Like it's been a part of what I've been doing the last, you know, over a decade, is specifically really getting into the griot traditions and studying the way we pass our history down from our perspective. So that's something that I take very to heart. And you can see it in my writing, what I write about, what I choose to put in the volumes. It reflects that. But that was it. Go ahead, Brother Kofi.
Oh no. If you had something else, man, you good. I'm gonna make sure y'all able to get y'all questions in too. And I was just gonna say, if you had something else before we get into the other two books and the last few questions. She mentioned Igbo. I'm gonna send you a video I did maybe a year and a half ago. I did a whole presentation. I don't know if it was on this channel or the other channel, I think it was on Master Warrior Clan channel, because I'll be back and forth on both channels. I did a presentation called I don't know the name of it, but it's specifically dealing with the Igbo people and their tradition called the Odinandi. So I'm gonna send that to you and let you look at it, and maybe if you maybe can pick it apart, or you know and see if I got this right, or if I didn't got that right, or I should have added this in with the Igbo people. But I did a whole presentation. That's my main objective, is far as with my lane is with the cultures and traditions in Africa. So I try to their indigenous traditions. So I talk about the Akan people in Ghana with the Akumi tradition. I talk about the in Nigeria. I talk about the Yoruba people with Ifa or Isheshe, and also in Nigeria the Igbo people. I talk about the old Denani tradition. Or we go to East Africa and deal with the Amazulu tradition, or the Chui tradition, the Nao tradition, or the Gulu Wankulu tradition. So I deal with those indigenous traditions that they deal with. But I'll send it to you, that the one with the Igbo. But yeah, T'Challa, you had anything else, man, before we go back into the last two books and the last few questions?
No, go ahead. That was it.
Okay, so let's talk about the last two books. Let's just The Adventures of Wally, The Day I Faced the Snake, The Beginnings Reader Adventures. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And you published this in 2012.
That's Wally. This is the one where he faced the snake.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wrote this one because when it comes to beginning readers for African American children or children, Black children, especially for boys, we didn't have enough fiction for them. So I'd be in the library and parents would come in and they'd ask me, where are the stories for my own child? So we just want something easygoing, adventure. So Wally, who happened to be my ex, is from Senegal. We wrote this book together. He told me this story. And there is a real Wally, and this really happened to him. And he had to face the snake, and it's about father-son relationship, learning to become self-reliant, and he had to take care of his cows, and he had to face the snake, and he had to remember how to deal with coming face to face with the snake and protecting his the cows. So it's based on a true story. We have another one coming out about hunting honey, but he's in Senegal now, and this book takes place in Senegal.
Okay, you just selling me. Okay.
It's for boys because we found that there are more books written with girl characters. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to have multicultural books for children, there are not enough that show Black boys as the main protagonists. We need more. We don't need them to be heavy, dysfunctional, problematic books. We just need easygoing, fun adventures. That's why I wrote this one. And I know, because I'm in children's literature, I know what we have and what we don't have. I know the kinds of books that we need to write for children. We don't have enough. And that's where I want to help people who want to write. I know the topics you should try and write. Boys need to have something more to read. As you can see, the girls read more than the boys. And there's a reason for that. There are not enough books for the boys. So that's why we did the Wally book. I'm definitely on a tangent.
Oh, no. You good. I mean, you done sold me on. I'm definitely gonna have to get that book from you. Before we leave up off here, if you got any extra copies, I'll definitely buy a copy from you, because you done sold me on that one. Sold me on that one as well as the other, especially this other one that we talked about this and already the other day. A step-by-step guide to writing a school report by reading a school report, and you wrote this in 2014 as well. Can you but before you kind of talk about it a little bit, you can go ahead and talk about it, what inspired you to actually write this and put it together?
The step-by-step guide.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I worked in the library again, I see what's going on. The children, as part of the curriculum, especially grades 3 to 5, they have to learn how to write. They have to learn how to research and write reports. Some of the times they'll have to write about a country or a person or an animal. So this guide I wrote was to show them how to write reports on each, what kinds of materials you need to research in order to write a cohesive, logical report. And I noticed that the kids had no clue. They come to the library and they just say they're going to write about a wolf. They'll go look up wolf, copy and paste, and then put it together and say they wrote the report. So when I said, are you understanding what you're reading? They had no clue what they just copied and pasted. I said, this is not how you write a report. And then I noticed that some of the parents, they didn't quite know how to help the children write the report. So that's why I wrote this in a child-friendly way, but it's also good for parents. It shows them step by step what to include when they are writing different types of reports, how to take notes, how to do the research, how to cite the information. The book, this one I think has, I'm going to revise this one a little bit, but it had how to write all three. So I might break it up. I think I already have it broken up into 3 separate books, and then I have one that has all 3 together. I might revise it a little bit. It's very helpful. It's helpful for parents too, who need to show their children how to do it, but they don't know how to do it, you know.
Man, that's excellent, man. Like I said, I definitely got to get that one as well for my 13-year-old son, man. He's definitely got to have that, and I definitely want that. Now, again, for those, I got all of her publications, y'all, in the description below. So if you want the link, you can I'll get her information. Well, I got her email information. I have to go back and put it in there after the show, where you can email her if you want to purchase a copy directly from her. And I also have all the links where you can get all the books on Amazon, also in the bottom of the description now. So all you got to do is just go down there. But again, she has publications: Nigeria, Madam C.J. Walker, a Vienna entrepreneur, millionaire, moving to Ghana, the essential things you need to. Oh, we hadn't talked about that book. Matter of fact. So, and it's crazy. Let's talk about that book real quick. We missed that one. Moving to Ghana, essential things you need to know. And before you talk about it again, I have my copy too. As well. Oh, that's the Madam C.J. Walker. Right here. And I was at work. This was last week, because this book came last week, and I had it sitting on my desk. I had quite a few books sitting on my desk, but this book, You're Moving to Ghana, was actually sitting on top of all the other books. And my wife don't normally come sit at my desk, but she had come sit at my desk, and I get a text from, and I'm at work. And I'm sitting at my desk at work. I get a text, and it was a screenshot of your book. And my wife said, why you buy this book here? I said, because we moving to Ghana. She said, what? I said, we're moving to Ghana. No, I said, Ghana, baby, is a beautiful place to move. But I was just messing with her. But I definitely want to repatriate back to Africa. I don't know where. And one of the places may be Ghana. It may be Ghana or Nigerian, because my father's side, they migrated from East Africa into, I think it was Kenya. They migrated from Kenya into Nigeria. Went into Nigeria. They've been there for years. And then my mother's also migrated from East Africa. They was from Uganda. Her people migrated from Uganda into Ghana. So they've been there for umpteen years. So those are 2 places I definitely want to go, because I got a high percentage of Nigerian and high percentage of Ghana, because my mother's ancestors come out of Ghana and my father comes from out of Nigeria. So I said, if I did repatriate, one of those places probably would be the place to go. But Ghana was the first place that I actually wanted to visit. But since I have a relationship in Gambia now, so we all, the whole team, Kofi Piesie Research Team, we want to go to Ghana because we have our books. We have both our volumes in the Gaia Journal Skills Academy in Gambia. We have a scholarship, Kofi Piesie Research Scholarship, where we are actually helping a student or financing a student to go to school there. And we also got our other brother, who I'm also a member of Marcy Warrior Clan, which I mentioned the channel a couple of times. He has the Black Panther scholarship now. So now we have 2 scholarships where we are funding 2 students from out of there, 2 scholarships. So we definitely want to go there. So we want to go there. That's my first choice, is there first. And then I want to go to Ghana. And then I want to go to Nigeria. And before we get out of here, I want to talk about your company too. Your company, because I know when we get ready to go to Gambia, we definitely going to use we're going to patronize your business to get there. Yeah. But then just talk real quick about your book, Moving to Ghana, the essential things you need to know.
Yes. Well, you know, Ghana is a very popular destination now. People are looking towards Ghana. And there are some things that I see online that people have the wrong idea about. Some of them are correct, but there are some misperceptions as well. So the book we wrote talks about all aspects of living in Ghana, cost of living, where people live, different types of the different regions. When I wrote the book, there were 10 regions. Now there are 16. They just divided some of the bigger regions. Talks about culture, talks about expectations, talks about visas and immigration matters. Talks about if you have a pension, if you have social security payments, all of that. Just what you need to know to help you make the decision that's best for you. Because you might think you want to go to Ghana, but maybe not. Maybe it will work for you, maybe not. You just want to make the best informed decision. Meanwhile, of course, my partners are based in Ghana, my Ghanaian partners, and our office in Ghana and in the US. Me, I love Ghana. I went there, fell in love with the place, and I've tried to figure out how can I stay here at least most of the year. Hence, we started the business with my partner, my partner and I. A lot of times I'm in Ghana. Last year I was in Nigeria and Ghana for 8 months. Nigeria and Ghana are our focus points. So when you're ready to go to Nigeria, you let me know too. In fact, we're related now that I know your peeps are from Nigeria.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I meant to tell you that the other day when we was on the phone. And we, like I said, we're definitely gonna patronize your business when we get ready to travel there. What are some of the countries that you went to beside Ghana? Yeah, where all y'all went before you start talking about your company. Where you've been to Ghana? Where else you been? You've been to several countries. You've been in. We know you're from Nigeria. You've been back and forth from there to the States, and your business partners are in Ghana. Your office is based out of Ghana. You've been to a few other African countries as well. Can you name some of those?
There's Togo and Benin, Republic of Benin, Cameroon. Yeah. Trying to head off. I'm trying to get myself to Rwanda. Senegal. Okay. Yeah, I've been to Senegal too. Yeah. Well, we're the West Africa people, but we have connections and partners in South Africa, Tanzania, Kenya. So far.
Oh, okay.
But I want to say something about our.
Okay. Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you. I'm sorry.
No, I wanted to say something about the tours we do. Because my friend who was speaking earlier about music and culture and storytelling, the kinds of tours and experiences we arrange in Ghana and Nigeria, whatever you want, we can facilitate. So we had a teacher come there specifically for storytelling. So experiences and tours were geared around storytelling specifically. We talk to people who are in that field. She meets them. They do special performances and workshops for the teacher. We've had we've had student university placement in agriculture and horticulture because that's their focus. So we were able to go talk to the farmers and farms and let him do his internship, university internship there. So we can anything cultural immersion, we can facilitate such. We are much more than just a tour company. Whatever you want to get done in Ghana and Nigeria, we can do it.
Okay.
Make it happen for you.
Okay. What did you did Ladosha go through you when she went to Gambia, or did she go through you?
We helped her with the travel part of that. Yes.
Okay.
For she went to Gambia. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The Gambia. Yeah. Well, like I said, we definitely gonna. Go ahead.
I said we're working on documentary. Somebody's coming to do a documentary in February in Ghana. So for everyone as he steps off the plane until the documentary is done, we handle that as well.
Okay.
So I mean, anything you want, we can do it.
Oh, no doubt. We definitely gonna get with you. And the description for her traveling agency is also in the bottom of the description too. So if y'all want to click on and see what all they what all the details and what they entail, the description is down in the bottom of the description as well. All of our information is down. I just got to go back after the show and put an email in so y'all can contact our sister so y'all can get some of her books. So I'll put that email down there after the show. Now, how long
can I say one thing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say, for anybody who wants to write, whether it's for adults or for children, I want you to go ahead and just do it. We need more stories told from our perspectives, stories, and that means storytelling, fiction and nonfiction. We need it for our kids. We need it for adults. We need motivational and inspirational and informative books. And then if anyone is thinking of becoming a publisher, where you're an actual publisher publishing your work and others, that's highly and something I really think we should consider doing as a people, so that we are in control of our own stories and we don't have to go begging anybody to please accept to publish this on our behalf. And I can have information put on I have a writer's website as well as my Facebook author, Mary Oluonye author, where I will be helping people with writing and offering some, just small courses, because I can't deal with too much more. I used to help people write, edit, proofread, but I can't do it on a one-to-one basis. But generally speaking, if you need help with writing, you need some inspiration, you need resources, just check me out, because I'm there for you, for us.
And you said they can find you on Facebook. You said something you had a writing website or something too, or what did you say?
I have Mary Oluonye author. Mary Oluonye author. If you just Mary Oluonye at Facebook author.
Okay, yeah.
You'll find.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely put that in the link. I'll go back and put that in the link as well. I might already have that in the link down and below. I think I got that already down in the link below. If I don't, I'll definitely put it in here after the show. But I know I got most of your contact information, all your publications as well. And that was one of my questions, you already answered. That was gonna be actually the last question that I asked. But before then, so I'll just ask this question and then we'll wrap it on up. Let me go down to this last one, because I'm gonna skip this. And after coming up with your ideals, writing your chapters, editing, putting the book together, publishing it, what did you learn about yourself after you did all that? After you come up with the ideas, you wrote the book, wrote the chapters for the book, got the book edited. Everything was put together. It was published. What did you, what did you learn about yourself doing the process of doing these books? What you learn about yourself?
Actually, what I've always known about myself is I can do whatever I want to. This world, there's so much information out there. So there's so much information out there. You can learn a lot. And now is the perfect time for people to learn a lot because you have time to learn now. And also, I know, I'm older now, so I didn't just learn this because I wrote a book, but I learned, I don't know everything. One thing I know is I don't know everything, so I let people who know what they are doing do. What I don't know how to do, I give it to somebody who knows what they are doing. I know my strengths, and I know when I need help, and I know how to find it, and I know how to value the help I get from others to help me accomplish my goal.
All right. One more question, the last question. Can you give any further advice to up and coming writers?
Go for it. Just go ahead and start writing. Even if the first couple of pages are just trash, keep writing. Do not throw away anything you write. Everything is valuable. Don't throw it away yet because you can always go back and find some nuggets of brilliance in there. So don't let anyone tell you cannot write. As you are writing, keep in mind that sometimes you need to have other eyes look at your finished product before you rush to publish. I strongly recommend you always get someone to look or read or help it your work. Don't just, I know everybody's really, you'll be so excited, want to see your book out there. But if you're going to put out a book of value for yourself and others, you want to put up the best book you can. And that takes, takes a little time and it takes letting other people help you. But go for it.
Hey, you muted, Kofi. I got a question.
And go ahead.
Before we get out of here, you mentioned, sis, that you are from the Igbo people. My question is, how do you feel about the increase of Igbo brothers and sisters claiming to be of Jewish descent by blood?
Jewish descent?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what I heard you say?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I have not heard it. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard about it.
There you go.
Hello?
And yeah, he said
now
that.
I've heard, I'll research. Now that I've heard, I'm going to go do my research.
Yeah, it's some claims out there. It's some claims out there, but we, like most people have to realize that Africa, the continent of Africa, got affected too. It was people kidnapped from extensively West Africa. We know some was kidnapped from Central Africa, but especially extensively from West Africa. And when that was taking place, and then during the transition, you had Africa was colonized. So a lot of this, these claims and other stuff that's going on the continent, it has a lot to do with colonization. So, and there are people, like he said, that are making claims that the Igbo people are descendants or are the Jews. So again, it all has to do with colonization. But like she said with the last question, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, sis. Go ahead.
I said, or they may be talking about, sometimes people kind of equate the Igbo people as the Jews of Nigeria. Maybe that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a stereotype where they think people who have the most business or a lot of their money, that some people will say, those Igbos are Jews of another place, you know.
Oh, so they equating the Jews
Like
that have money, because we do the same. Yeah, because we. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you. Go ahead, sis. I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh yeah, like I was saying, like they equating some of those Igbos people because they are wealthy and have money. Oh, okay, they must, you know, be Jewish or something. Because I know we brag about that, especially in the entertainment business. We brag about we got Jewish lawyers, so we got, you know, we're tied in with the Jewish people because the Jews, you know, fund a lot of stuff in Hollywood, a lot of stuff in the entertainment business, and not only that, but a lot of people don't know that the Jews also funded the Atlantic kidnapping trade, the boats, the materials for the boats, the clothing for the kidnapped victims. I don't like to call our ancestors slaves, the shackles, the chains, etc. They also funded that as well, that a lot of people don't talk about. But in America, we'll brag about having a Jewish lawyer in business with the Jewish people. So are you saying that they may be equating those people that have wealth because the Jewish people are known for having wealth, abundance of wealth, and money?
I'm saying that some people might equate that because we've heard that said in places before, like, those are like Jews, the Jews of Europe or the Jews of America, because they have the businesses or they have the money. So I'm not sure if they meant that genetically speaking or whether it's just a stereotype that they are referring to when they say that they are Jewish.
Well, I
have Jewish heritage.
I can attest to the same claims that people try to. They just say that all around Africa, anywhere they find Africans who practice an Abrahamic faith, they'll have this thing about dealing with DNA and genetics and bloodline, and they talk about bloodline from names in a book. And people say that all over Africa, that because you can find people who are Jewish or Hebrew Israelite or whatever they call themselves. Yes, you can find people all over the world who believe in all types of religions. That doesn't mean that your bloodline is tied to that place in that region. You know what I mean? That's just a faith. Religions don't give away your geographical location.
Yep.
At least not nowadays.
Yep. Right. Yeah. So we're finna end the show. And like she said, and like I said, she's the sixth person to come on Author's Perspective. We only been doing this we started this show a couple of months ago. It's been like a bi-weekly show. Sometimes we come back to back, which we'll be back again on Author's Perspective with another author from Lafayette, Louisiana, next week, who is an author, who is the art designer, marketing guy. He builds websites. He does a lot. We'll be back next week with that author. But as she said, with each question that we done asked, a person that been on Author's Perspective, when we asked that last, can they give any good advice to up and coming writers? And basically their answer is just do it. So, you know, you just got to do it, family. Just start and you just got to do it. You know, like I said, we didn't think, where we at? We 11 months into 2020. We didn't think 11 months ago we'll have 6 publications out. You know, we didn't know where to start at, you know, and now we created this show so we can interview other authors and get inside the minds of other authors, and they can walk you through their process of writing you know, and give you the do's and the don'ts, and, you know, and give you some good advice, and, you know, break down royalties, and, you know, going through a publishing company versus self-publishing. And everyone, like I said, just do it. So just start out and just do it, you know. And if you need any help, like I said, we are all here to help you out. Sister Mary Oluonye said, you know, you can reach her on her Facebook page, and she's willing to help you out, because we understand that we need to have more writers. We need more producers, more creators. So we're here to help. This is what this show is about. Sister Mary is already doing the work. And Sister Mary, we greatly appreciate you for coming on Author's Perspective. We're very honored to have you. And again, all of her information about her books is in the descriptions. I got to go back and add an email, so you can hit her up in an email if you want to purchase directly from her. We got to help each other out. You got any last and final words before I end the show, Sister Sister Mary?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a really nice conversation this Sunday. I enjoyed myself and listening to all of you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you again for coming on. And y'all, please support Sister Mary Oluonye. Please support her. And also, you know, check out her website dealing with her traveling agency as well. And, you know, patronize her business, the books and the traveling agency, especially for those that in the future that may be wanting to go to Africa. Hit her up. And again, I want to say Black African Power. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Y'all could have been doing anything else with y'all time, but y'all tune in to listen to what we had to say. Peace, brother Rakim77. Peace, ACL, UNIA. Kisu, brother Zane. Sister Ladosha. I don't know if she's still on here. I think she might have popped off. Sanel. Peace to brother Sanel. Brother Jehudi Ma'ad. And I know I'm missing some other people here. I'm not going to stroll all the way up. But appreciate everybody for looking on Facebook as well. Peace to those that was looking in the Kofi Piesie Research Team like page. And I think Sean started a watch thing as well. So appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all in Boca. Also be on the lookout for Volume 3 that's coming real soon. Real soon. And the launch of the Mboka brand that we have a partnership with Fatu Gay and her Gay Journal Skills Academy. This also will be launching in the next few weeks. So again, appreciate y'all. We thank y'all, and we'll see y'all next time on Author's Perspective. Peace.